The StreetView series is back for a two-part special. When I began this series in August 2023, I'd considered a few other parks, namely Michigan Adventure, but I decided against it because it had been a long time since I last went to them, so I wouldn't really be able to properly go through all of the differences that they have now. However, only a week after the first of those videos, I did make it back to Michigan's Adventure. That means I'm able to talk about what all has changed with the park over the last 13 years. Feel free to come along as we take a dive back into the wonderful world of Google Street View. Is there enough content to be able to make an entire Street View video on Michigan's Adventure? Who knows? Let's find out together. I will say, just before we go in, I'm definitely not as knowledgeable on Michigan's Adventure as I am Canada's Wonderland, Cedar Point, or Kings Island. Those are parks that I know in and out at this point. One thing that is different is that they finally updated this font on the logo. This used to be just like a very generic, well, not generic, I should say, actually the opposite of generic. This used to be a unique font that was only used at Michigan's Adventure, because it's from, I don't know if it's from when it was an independent park, or at least like Cedar Fair put it in right when they bought the park or something and just didn't get around to changing it, but they finally did. I always think it's kind of cool. Michigan's Adventure and I think Worlds of Fun, Dorney, and maybe Valley Fair have this too, where like the main entrance, sort of like this like main entrance design thing, isn't actually where the turnstiles to get into the park are. The turnstiles are right behind that instead. Something that is different right off the bat in here is that the really small guest relations building in here, like that is not enough space for guest services. So they took out these lockers and guest services is now in this section where the lockers are. I think also the Snoopy Boutique has been changed around a bit from how it was back then. Not like a ton, but I guess it'd probably be more of the interior. This is one of the better, I would say, one of the better Planet Snoopy buildings in the Cedar Fair chain. Or like gift shops, I should say. I think this and Cedar Points are probably the two best. There's a lot of really strange flat rides at Michigan's Adventure. Wait a minute, I have a map. Hold on a second, I need to go grab it. I got really lucky when I went to Michigan's Adventure in 2023 because I was able to get a physical map, which not a lot of parks do physical maps anymore. So I can actually cross-reference with the map to see what's all different, instead of just hoping that my rambles are correct. One thing that is different up at the front of the park here is Corkscrew. I think it was 2020 or 2021. Corkscrew got a nice repaint, and instead of being this orange and yellow color, it's now blue with white supports. One thing that I do have to say about Michigan's Adventure is that their like actual gift shop offerings just for like park merch is really poor. And I don't actually think this door exists anymore for the gift shop. This is their main gift shop, by the way. Like the gift shop at the very front of the park here, the Snoopy Boutique, this one only has peanut stuff in it. If you want actual park merchandise, you have to go around the corner here to this corner store, which this door doesn't even exist anymore. And so only if you're going to Mad Mouse do you know that this hole-in-the-wall store exists, and that's the main store for park merchandise. Anyways, we're going to pop over to Mad Mouse over here, which is another coaster that got a repaint. It's now orange, and I actually really like the orange on it. I think it looks really, really good. It's a really good Wild Mouse, by the way. I have to say this is probably the best Wild Mouse that I've been on. It was really fun. Over here in this section of the park, there's a couple things that are different. Down here in some of the more like flat ride areas, this flat ride here doesn't exist anymore. I didn't even know that it existed in the first place. But this kind of area here got turned into a little petting zoo called Funland Farm. It's sort of similar to Cedar Point's barnyard. It's sort of similar to that, like the area over underneath Millennium Force's overbank. It's sort of similar to that, except it has like more, you can go more into like the area, and it's designed to be like a petting zoo first instead of like a feeding zoo, if that makes sense. Something that I regret about when I went this year is that I didn't do any of the 3 flat rides that are down here. They have a Trabant. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this thing looks really fun. It was down when I went, and I was really disappointed when I walked past it. And then this like flying trapeze chair swing looks really cool. If I make it back 2024, I'm definitely going to be doing these flat rides. Maybe I'll do like an actual video when I'm there too. And they also have a tilt-a-whirl, which is kind of, it's just interesting because, you know, this is very much like a traveling like carnival flat ride, and not something that you typically see at like a permanent amusement park. But you know what? That's Michigan's adventure. I hope you guys can't hear that wind. It's been really windy and snowy for the last couple days. Cedar Point and like all of the other parks that I've done StreetView videos on, it's Michigan's adventure is kind of the reverse of them, because those, like, so much has changed in the last 13 years with those parks. But then Michigan's adventure, it's almost like, well, what has actually changed? Is that a blanket of the park map? That's kind of cool. I think it is just something that they have draped over so you can't like see what's under here. That's probably just like extra stock of whatever's in this gift booth, but if they sold that, I'd probably buy it. That sounds cool. This is also something that I didn't ride this year, and I really should have. I need to go back to Michigan's Adventure 2024 as well. You can't see it, like, it's not something that you'd be able to see in StreetView, or even like off the ride itself. But something that did happen to Michigan's or Wolverine Wildcat, which is really nice, is that it's gotten a couple bits of retracking. And it's actually one of the coasters that's gotten Titan Track retracking from GCI, which is their steel track retracks. And I gotta say, it's the retracking that they did with it is really good. And what they need to do is they need to get GCI up to Wonderland, and they need to Titan Track Wild Beast. This is actually an attraction that doesn't exist anymore. We get another defunct attraction at Michigan's Adventure. This little bumper boat's here. They just took it out and then made this just a normal like dock area, which is kind of sad. Bumper boats are a rare attraction, and it's always kind of sad when one closes. We actually, amazingly enough, you would never expect this from a video about Michigan's Adventure, but I actually get to talk about a new attraction here, because this Michigan's Race Park Adventure doesn't exist anymore. It got torn out, and in its place is a Larson Flying Scooters, which are always just really fun rides. We love flying scooters. Those are interesting looking go-karts too. They have like a weird design to them. I guess it's because they're designed to look like stock cars, but yeah, I kind of like that. You don't see many go-karts that have a windscreen, even if it's just like a faux windscreen. And this mini go-karts track also doesn't exist anymore. These used to be like common at Cedar Fair parks, because there's one when I went to do the Kings Island video, they had one over where Banshee is nowadays. And I thought that that was a weird track because it's just kind of an oval, but this one's even weirder because it's just a really tiny triangle. I guess it's for like like it is, yeah, like baby's first go-kart track, but even then it still has a minimum height requirement of 42 inches. I don't know, that just feels odd to me. It feels like unnecessary if you already have a full-size go-kart track, or not even full-size, like a mid-sized go-kart track. Do these flats still exist? No. I don't know if they might still exist, but they've gotten relocated at least to somewhere else in the park. And that doesn't exist behind them, that like antique car. I don't even know if it's antique, just the car ride. That isn't a thing anymore, because that and these and this entire section here, I don't actually know if it's on. It is on here. Good. Okay. All of this has gotten removed and replaced with a new Camp Snoopy, which I think consulting good ol' RCDB, was in 2021. This got a nice little refresh, and it's actually a really solid kids area. I didn't get any video here because I don't know why, but I just didn't get video when I went to Michigan's Adventure. I got like 40 clips. But yeah, this Bebop Boulevard got removed, and I think it's a much better use of the land. Like, this is a really big plot of land for a car ride. And so taking that out and putting in a whole new kids area, and like a really well put together one as well, I think that that's definitely a good, like, something good that the park did. Where is whatever it was called before it was Woodstock Express? Big Dipper. Where is this in the park? It's over here, like really weirdly tucked away in the back corner here. But that's the same ride as the coaster that exists there now, which is called Woodstock Express in this new Camp Snoopy area. I actually, amazingly, I was able to get on Woodstock Express when I went to Michigan's Adventure, which means that this is the first full-sized, in big air quotes, parks that I've ridden 100% of the roller coasters in. You would think it would be like Kings Island or Canada's Wonderland, but nope. All three of my home parks, I have to get on the kiddie coasters that have maximum height requirements. I could have probably, in theory, gotten on Snoopy's Racing Railway in 2023, because I went the second day that it was open, and it was completely dead there because it was raining. I probably could have gone up to one of the ride attendants and just been like, hey, nobody's here, could I just get on it really quickly? And they probably would have been like, sure. I don't know, maybe, but I didn't. I just got way too much video instead. I've always found this arcade kind of funny. It's still here, but it feels like weird, and I think it's just because it's completely open air instead of like having just like a normal building where it's like walls and then like an entrance here, entrance on that side, entrance on this side. It's just a fully open air thing, and it's, I don't know, it's a weird arcade. And also, I don't think it's here in this. No, it is. Yeah, you can barely see it, but for all of the arcade machines that are in the middle of the room, they just have extension cables dangling from the ceiling connecting them, which, that's just funny to me. This little family grill back here, this got changed slightly. It's like a picnic themed all you can eat. Like, it's a picnic themed buffet now. I don't know how much it's changed. I didn't do it. I just went to coasters instead. But like from what they said on the menu, it looks like it could be like all right. Michigan's Adventure also has a really big water park, which you gotta actually kind of give them credit for. I explored around in the water park in 2019, and it's like not a bad water park at all. And I think it's probably the like main draw of the park for like people in like Muskegon and Grand Rapids and stuff like that, like just the local area. I think that the water park is probably the biggest draw here, if I would have to guess. Because even when I went on a pretty packed, like a fairly packed summer's day, and Corkscrew had a station wait, and then Shivering Timbers fluctuated between a station wait and like a 20-minute wait. There was no in between for it. It's the crowds at Michigan's Adventure are weird. I'm not well versed on water parks, so I don't know how much of this is different from how it is today. I'm getting lost in here too. Never thought I would get lost in Michigan's Adventure. Also, something that I gotta say is really, like, this is a really weird thing at Michigan's Adventure, is that they have this water slide here, but it's not part of the water park, it's part of the dry park. Because the entrance to the water park is here, but this water slide is just chilling right in the middle of the dry park. Yeah, Michigan's Adventures. It's just such a weird park, but I love it. It also has paddle swans, which are really cool. This is like, whenever I see these, I just think of Roller Coaster Tycoon. Walking on up to Thunderhawk over here, this is another ride that got repainted. Michigan's Adventure has gotten 3 repaints, and yet still, Intimidator 305 and Maverick have not gotten a repaint. How ridiculous is that? But yeah, Thunderhawk got repainted. It has like really dark gray supports and a darker red track, And I think that the repaint of it looks really good, actually. Also, Thunderhawk is just good in general. Like, it's a good SLC. It's not like Flight Deck or Ednor. I actually really enjoyed it when I rode. And I rode, like, almost in the back row, too. So, where it should, in theory, be the worst. It was really good. I feel like I'm not giving enough commentary in this video. It's going to be a short one. Like, this is not going to be another, like, 50-minute video like Canada's Wonderland was. This is the dead end of Michigan's Adventure. Once you get over here, the only spot that you can go is you take the train back up to the front of the park. And also, I actually really... Oh, it is Bicycle Helmet Man! Look at that! He makes his grand return after all. I wonder if these were all in the same trip, because this is July 2011. So, I wonder if he went from, like, Great America to Michigan's Adventure to Cedar Point to Kings Island or something like that. Something else that I really love about this park, it feels so weird. Like, this section of the park here, it doesn't feel like an amusement park. Like, ignore this. Look over here. This is just a roller coaster in a field. And then, like, if you turn so that way Shivering Timbers is out of your peripheral vision, like, this is not an amusement park. That's just a field. This is, like, where you go, like, ATVing out and then, like, you accidentally wander onto, like, a farmer's field. This is not an amusement park. Like, even with, like, King's Dominion, which is another park that's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. When every spot of King's Dominion, except for, like, maybe over near Grizzly, everywhere still feels like, hey, I'm in an amusement park. But, like, this is not an amusement park. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. We love Michigan's Adventure for how just kind of jank and weird it is. I think it's absolutely worth visiting Michigan's Adventure at least once. Not just because of Shivering Timbers, but also just because it's such a weird feeling park. I think everyone, if you're able to, you should definitely go to it sometime. So I guess that it's time to start wrapping up this video, just because that's all that's changed of Michigan's Adventure. We just did a full walkthrough of the park in 30 minutes. Good luck doing that with, like, Canada's Wonderland or something. It's kind of interesting. I was expecting not a lot to change, but there's actually been a good amount of changes to the park. It's all been minor stuff, like Corkscrew, Thunderhawk, Mad Mouse getting repainted. The go-kart tracks aren't there anymore, and there's, like, a Ferris wheel, or the flying scooters, and then, like, Camp Snoopy, obviously. Going into this, I really thought the only things that I was gonna talk about was Camp Snoopy. But, no, I actually was able to make what is hopefully gonna be a pretty nice video out of this. So, I guess it's time to wrap it up. And, well, that's Michigan's Adventure. I hope that you guys all enjoyed our little walk around of the park here. It was really fun getting back into doing this Street View thing again. Fortunately, we're not done with Street View just quite yet, as there's one more park left that I can talk about. Stay tuned until next time, where we're taking a trip up to Montreal to go visit the one and only La Ronde. Until then, I've been Atomic Coasters, take care and ride on.